I'm wondering, are there other examples that people have in their own, in your own work and classrooms of some of these other kinds of things similar kinds of things going on in terms of these more experiential, collaboratory, using the internet, open examples?
My name is Michelle Madera, and I'm finishing up my master's and actually going on, I think, for a PhD because my master's is too long, my advisors told me. But in any case, I originally was looking at quality in teaching as it pertains to ESL, and then I had to delve down and I looked at technology in teaching. And I found that, unfortunately, in the area of ESL, the teachers are the most underfunded, oftentimes the least qualified because many people don't have the degree to teach ESL. They're just kind of pushed in that area. And the classrooms literally have outdated textbooks. I taught 5th grade in Pittsburgh where last year they had to take the national science exam as part of the state testing. They had never in their life had a science lesson, ever. And so I was able to manage to put a few lessons in. And what I did was in the context of a unit on endangered species, I was able to go online and, for instance, look at whales. There was a site that allowed them to create whale songs. So I got them really interested in music. They all love music. I was able then to go on and teach them about media literacy and teach them about analyzing information. And we also incorporated math and graphing their particular endangered species. And that got into a teachable moment because we realized that the information on the web was so diverse, and how do you actually compare and contrast endangered species when one organization like the World Wildlife Federation has their statistic, but then another organization, maybe a government-run organization, is minimizing the amount of endangered species. So it was a phenomenal experience to be able to open their eyes to technology, to incorporate science. But it was also very challenging as a teacher because I had no support, and the school thought I was wasting my time, and I had to actually go get computers, get internet into the classroom, and that was the majority of my time, just the hurdles I had to overcome. On the other hand, I taught in Moraga, where in kindergarten they have internet, they have computer class. It's just, and it's only about 10 miles apart in terms of the distance. So I think really it's about the school systems, about the administration, the support, whether you have it or not. And teachers are overwhelmed, and there is the pacing guide, and there are the standards. And I had to kind of covertly put in the science lessons and some of the other curriculum because we had the pacing guide. We had to take these tests, and we had to meet the standards. So that's just my experience in the last year. There's not a lot of incentive, but I think if somehow, instead of thinking that teachers are going to go to all of your organizations, if somehow via the counties, the actual school districts, you could go to them and make presentations and then ask if perhaps you could give a presentation at their facility and teachers come to them versus traveling. Teachers need to see firsthand, and sending links is, I don't think, the way to engage them. You have to actually go, teach them, show them your wonderful resource, and say, and by the way, this meets the standard for 5th grade science, and it's on the test. And then they're going to get excited because now suddenly they have a way to empower their students to actually get a few questions right and be excited about science and at the same time.
Hold on one second, because the microphone's right there. Cynthia, can I put you on the spot maybe to tell us a little bit about free high school science text? And then we'll pass it over here. This is Cynthia Jimes, I'll introduce her, who's one of our lead researchers at ISKME around our OER projects. And we've been doing an interesting project with Free High School Science Text Project, which is based in South Africa.
some research on a project in South Africa, and it's called Free High School Science Texts, and we put a little executive summary of the study that we did of this project. And I just want to tell you a little bit about it because it's really interesting. It started out by a group of young PhD students in Durban, South Africa, who realized that there was a lack of textbooks for high school students, specifically focusing on math and science. And so these PhD students got together, there were about 5 of them in the beginning, and they decided to write textbooks for high school students. And they built this incredible online collaborative system where volunteers from all over the world could start to write chapters of these textbooks. And so they ended up having about 400 volunteers total, but then there were 50 globally who were coming regularly and writing chapters to these textbooks. So they thought it would take a year, it ended up taking 5 years. It's almost done now. And they've written 5 textbooks that are aligned to the curriculum standards of the South African Ministry of Education. And it's been such a successful project that the Ministry of Education is now has created an initiative based upon their model that was built from the bottom up, right? It was a very grassroots effort. So the Ministry of Education is now has started an initiative to create textbooks for all grades in South Africa based upon this model of creating open, and they're going to be open and free for anybody to use and reuse. So it was a great event.